Today, we are building the final piece of the first stage of my off-road Forester, the overlanding kitchen. This will allow me to set up and take down camp even quicker, allowing me to cook and clean on the trail without having to move everything. By the end of today's video, we are going to turn a bunch of scrap wood, carpet, and a few other things into a fully functioning kitchen. So let's get started. What is up, and welcome back to this very rainy day. Today we're actually going to be doing something really cool and something that I've been wanting to do on the Forester for a very long time. So, as you guys know, when we go camping, we just put our little propane stove here, just wherever it fits. Today we're going to build something a little bit better than just where it fits. So what we're going to do is we're going to be making a kitchen, essentially, with my Coleman stove here. So we actually have a fair bit of work to do because I kind of have a little bit of a plan besides just maybe a slider or something. We want to do a little bit more to get this Forester ready for some more overlanding trips. We're going to be using some automotive carpet. This is actually marine grade stuff because that's what I have laying around. Some black paint. Obviously you're going to need lots of screws. I'm going to be using a staple gun for the carpet. And then we're also going to be using some bungee, some tie downs, and some additional things here and there to just make it a little more functional. As well as probably the most important thing, the rails. The rails are what essentially make this slide in and out. And I'm using 24-inch heavy-duty drawer sliders. And for wood, you can use pretty much whatever you think works best. I'm just using some 1/4-inch plywood because that's what I have laying around. But we will also need a collapsible sink here that allows me to essentially have a cutting board and a sink, as well as a super large flexible cutting board, and a few other things here and there. And of course, your tools to do it, such as your drill, your saw, and all that fun stuff. But with all those parts listed, you're still probably wondering exactly how we're going to build this cabinet system. So let's talk a little bit more about the design and then get to some building. So this might not look like much, but this is essentially how I've designed our cabinet system. So we got some drawings. Lots of changes happened in these drawings, but they give us a basic idea of what's going to happen. So hopefully we're able to make this into our actual cabinet system. And then what we did is we actually did some super low fidelity prototyping. So made some cardboard templates of kind of the design I want. So they're kind of beat up now because we've played around with them a bit, but essentially these are our sliders or drawers that we're going to be cutting out of some wood. So I've been busy actually going ahead and transferring those wood templates to some plywood. So we actually have our first slider already all cut out. So we have our base here, and then we've got our back panel, our front panel, and all that. Because essentially what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to kind of do this in reverse. We're taking the cabinet, and usually you build outwards in, we're building inwards out. So we're designing and building the section for the stove first, and then we're going outwards because my dimensions aren't quite right because I didn't know what the dimensions were on the sliders and all of that fun stuff. So we're kind of just working our way outwards, so it should be interesting. So our first step is actually going ahead and painting these pieces of wood. I'm painting everything black besides this front piece. This front piece is going to be covered in carpet. So you start to see the way this cabinet is going to come out and what it's going to look like once we go ahead and start working on these smaller pieces. With the wood for the first slider cut out and ready to go, it was time to start building. Taking the pieces that we cut out a little while ago, we went ahead and painted them with our black paint. And with that being said, we're actually going to be using the rails as a part of the assembly. So we're going to be putting essentially one of these 2-inch screws right through the rail and into the sidewall here, and then into the base. So that means we also got to drill a pilot hole once we figure it all out. Laying out the whole slider, I measured and drilled our pilot holes into the plywood before testing them out and changing my mind. But I think I want to make the project a little bit harder. No. So I wanted to do, I said we're just painting the sides because why not? But I think because I want to be a little extra fancy, what we're going to do is we're actually going to wrap the sides with the carpet because, well, why not?
After wrapping our already painted sides, we could finally assemble the first slider by once again finding our pilot holes we just drilled and screwing it all together.
And there we go. So we have both rails mounted on. As I said, I just pretty much put screws through and then into the baseboard, so that thing is not going anywhere. Super duper strong. Like, I can put all my weight on it, it's not moving. And then I also went ahead and put the back plate on, so when we close it, open it, the grill doesn't go flying off. So put that on. As you can see, I'm just kind of super gluing this one edge so we don't actually keep on rubbing as it goes in and out. So I got the piece. As you see, there's no handles because, well, we got the hooks on each side, or the latches, so we don't really need a handle here. So it's just a nice flat piece, and then I just stapled it down at the bottom. So when it's in here, you don't see it as much. So what we got to do is just place it in here like that, and then go ahead and I think I'm going to put a screw down here and a screw down here. And check this out. There we go. So I have test fit the stove in here, and it looks really good. So when you like open it up, so this is, as I said, they're 24-inch sliders, and this stove is essentially would require 22. But the thing is, when these fold out, you have a little more room to cook on. So just by doing a little bit of extra and making it just 2 inches longer, you have a little bit more room. It does allow it to, let's close it again. It does allow it to kind of slide around a bit, so maybe I'll put some like sticky pads on the bottom of it or something. But other than that, that's like so much better. And then as you saw, we have the sliders on here, and I just had to glue the one part so it didn't catch. So now that we got this one done, oh, and I also just put another screw in here so that if I go to like pull it out with this, once I pull on these tabs, it's fine. So now that we got this one done, it means we still have to do the other one, the one above it, and then we got to do the whole cabinet. So let's go design the slide out above this.
And well, it was the same process for the second slider. Measure a bunch, cut the plywood, wrap it in carpet, and then do a little bit of painting. Once we had all the pieces ready to go, it was time to assemble them. Pulling out the sliders and putting the shorter screws through the back. Although, once we hit the top of the slider, we had a little bit of a problem.
You know the saying, measure twice, cut once? Well, I measured like 8 million times and somehow still didn't measure it the right size. I think that's just because the carpet adds a lot of dimension to this. So as you guys were just seeing, we were putting on the top. Well, the top doesn't fit quite right. And this, the one we painted, the one I've been waiting to dry all day, we toss it on there and it falls too. So I think maybe the rails actually were the a little bit thicker, and then when you add in the carpet in there, it's just way too thick, and we were off by probably like a 1/4 of an inch, which I mean would do, but I'm trying to make this actually like really nice because why not? And so I cut a new piece, and check that out. Fits on there much better. It actually covers both sides. I'm gonna go ahead and jigsaw and cut out the area for the sink. So what I want to do is go ahead and put this sink in here, and it's actually removable and it's collapsible, so it's a cutting board and a sink, which is great. But what we're going to do is we're essentially going to take it and cut a hole for that right there. So I'm going to go get my marker again, measure 3 times, and hopefully just cut once. And check that out. So there we go. We have our kitchen. We have our sink that's actually collapsible, and it's also a cutting board, and the hole for it is a little wonky of a cut, but it fits in there just like that. And then when the whole thing is actually slid out of the car, you can push this down for the sink. You can't really, you can do like the first layer, but you can't make it the fully deep sink when you've got the stove open. are not open. And now we're back to repeating the same process. So I gotta go ahead, paint that top piece because obviously we're not gonna put carpet on it if it's our food prep place. Then I'm gonna go ahead, cut this board, and this actually kind of closes in the back. So we have a really strong structure. So when we slide it out, it all doesn't fall apart. So I'm gonna cut that and then I'm gonna wrap it in carpet like the rest of the sides. So we've got a little bit of work to do, so I'm gonna do that. And then once we go ahead and assemble this, I'll catch back up with you guys. Well, the sink's in there and we got the top on, but I think we're missing one piece, the cutting board. There we go, so we got that on there now too, and we got everything on there, and we've got essentially our system, that our kitchen like drawer all ready to go. So what's next is really building the container that's around this. And what that means is we get to play with some more rails. So essentially this whole section would slide out of my car and be on or inside a box. So we essentially got to go ahead and mount this on rails and then put the rails on a box that go in the car. That's also going to have a little space for dry goods. So anything that doesn't go in the cooler is going to have about a 6-inch shelf that I can put anything in. So let's go ahead and mount these up first. And with the rails done, it's now time to go ahead and build the box. And with this piece, that is our very last piece of carpeted plywood. I ran out of glue. I've been gluing the ones on the side just so they don't bubble out as much, but I ran out of that pretty quickly because I was just using the spare stuff from my headliner. So we just left that and just did it on the side, which was fine. But now it's time to go ahead and assemble this and hopefully build a box out of this and build our shelving into it. So that's what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna essentially build around what we have built so far, and hopefully we can get a drawer system pretty quickly. And there we go, so we have a box now. So we're almost done. One more thing, as I said, I want to put a shelf up here. So I think I've got a little more scrap wood, and we're just gonna toss that there, put some screws through the side to hold it up, and then we are officially done. And there we go, we have our shelf, and we actually have it in the car. So with that shelf, it was the last piece of the puzzle before we had to go install it. And well, installing it's pretty easy. All I had to do was lift it from my table and put it in here, until I realized that it actually has so much weight or so much force like outwards that it leans forwards too much and actually won't sit in the car. So I took one of those D-rings we had at the very start and I put it up on the top of the box right in the center, and then Subaru's put some actual mounting spots for like holding down stuff, and I actually just took a ratchet strap and ratcheted it right down from the D-ring, so it's kind of like a V, and it holds the whole thing. And as I'll show you guys in a second, it has no problem being fully extended. But that's what it looks like in the Forester. Definitely takes up over half the Forester, but I think it's worth it because essentially you have a whole kitchen right there and ready to go whenever you show up to camp. And as you'll see, we actually put this netting here too, so I can put like pots and pans just chilling on the side. But as I said, there's the ratchet strap that holds the whole thing from essentially falling over. And with that being said, I think it's time to end the video as we've lost our last little bit of light. But I hope you guys really enjoyed, or hope I inspired some people to go ahead and build your own kind of camp kitchen or overlanding setup, because honestly, I had zero idea what I was doing. I kind of just, as you guys saw at the start, just kind of winged it. It did take 2 days of pretty much solid work to get it to where it is, but I'm really happy with it and I can't wait to go camping. Already got some adventures planned and already got some ideas and trips planned, so if you guys want to see any of that, make sure you're subscribed and let me know if you guys are thinking of building one of these and maybe something I missed in my camp kitchen. But that is going to be it for today's video, so as always, peace out and stay humble.